Yes.
Yeah, good morning everyone. Yesterday we discussed about constructors. We discussed about polymorphism, right? And we started discussing about templates. Inheritance also, na? Inheritance, polymorphism, templates. Right. So detailedly we will see now actually how we can use. Right. So we will see how do we work with the templates. Yesterday I told you few basic points. Templates are nothing but actually a template comprises of sample data and logic. It contains sample data and logic which you can customize and implement. So that is actually template. It contains sample data and logic which you can customize and implement. And templates are used for, I told you, rollout. Am I right? They are used for rollouts. So what is rollout? Yesterday I explained that concept. Rollout is a mechanism where we use a template for extending the business to other locations. Templates are used for rollout, and another templates also used for building library for client requirements. That is what actually template used for. Two situations I explained. Like we want an application with some templates so that those templates will be implemented by the client according to his requirements. Another, we develop templates for rollout mechanism, right? And how templates are designed. Actually, templates are designed by using abstract class. So what is a template in object-oriented programming? So template in object-oriented programming is nothing but it is an abstract class. So contracts means interfaces, components or entities means classes, and templates means abstract classes. Right? How we design and how we implement this, right? Let's see how the templates are configured and designed. Actually, in real-time projects, we build library, and library have a certain hierarchy actually. So we are building a library for project. First, here the first stage will be when we are designing a library for any project. Usually this library contains, we first start designing with contracts. Library contains contracts. So we design contracts. What are contracts? Already we know. Contracts usually contain all the rules. Contract contains rules. Contract contains rules. So by using these contracts, what we do usually is, with the help of these contracts, by using the contracts, we actually build templates. By using the contracts, we build templates. Templates will contain actually predefined data and logic. But template usually contains some data and logic which need to be implemented. That means actually it contains abstract. So abstract data and actually abstract logics. Now what we have to do is we have to build a component by using these templates. That means whatever is incomplete, we have to complete and define functionality. For that we actually use component. That means library comprises of contracts. According to the contracts, we build templates, and these templates we take and implement in components. Now these components are actually used in our projects. That means you are developing an application. When you are developing an application, usually what we do is, in this application, we use this component. Application is built with the help of these components. But component is coming from a template. Template is coming from a contract. That is the hierarchy actually. So hierarchy comprises of contracts, templates, and components. Let's see. First here, I am designing a simple interface, and the interface name as product contract. Already we know that interfaces are called contracts. And in this, we define rules. We have name, string. We have price, number. So we have quantity, number. We have total is a method, it is a number. We have print, it is a method, void type. These are the members. So as per the contract, every product must have 5 members, because nothing is mentioned as optional here. All are mandatory. So now we will design here a class, and I will keep it as product template. Now this template have to use these rules. We have to use those rules and design template. Now how a class will use rules? Generally, how a class can use another class? Extends. A class extends another class. Then you can use that class. Then how a class can use contract? It is not extending. It is not extending. This class have to implements contract, product contract. That means the contracts are implemented. The contracts are implemented. That means the template implements the contract. Then we have to design as per the contract. So we are mentioning here public, name, and it is a string type, and we will initialize some string. Similarly, we have public, price, it's a number type, we will initialize some number. Now public quantity, it is a, this is also number I will give, right? This is number. and quantity also number. So, and we have empty. Now, total and print are the functionalities. That is not our responsibility. That means they will be implemented by the client at client requirements. Then without mentioning them, you cannot design a template because in the contract they are there. But they are not our responsibility. Then what we do here, we define, so public, so total is a method which should return a number. What about its functionality? The functionality is not our responsibility. Then we have to mark it as abstract. So abstract should follow before the access modifier. That means abstract. We have to define like this. That means we are mentioning abstract. What is the purpose of abstract? Abstract indicates that this method requires a further implementation. This is not complete. Now, if any member in a class is abstract, means it is incomplete. That means the class also must be marked as abstract. We have to mark as abstract. Now, generally, if it is meant for implementation, don't use access modifiers. We can use access modifier. We can use access modifier. We can write public abstract like that. But when you are leaving it for further implementations, don't use access modifiers. Just keep it as abstract. Because it needs implementation. That is not our responsibility. So similarly, another print is also not our responsibility. Then we have to mark it as abstract print. And it is what type? Void type. So this is a template. That means we are designing a template, and the template is implementing the contract. Now, this template must be used in project. So we have to use the template in that everything not to define, everything not required to define. We have to define only total and print because already others are implemented. Only two are incomplete. So that is total and print. So I need to create a class. This is product component here. Now what this component have to do? It should use the existing members of this class and it should implement the incomplete members. Then what it should do? It should implement this template or extend the template. So whether to implement the template or extend the template. Extend the template. So it extends which one? Product template. It is extending the product template. Now in this, here we can directly access those members. That means whatever defined in template, we can use them here and implement. What I am doing here, name is equal to some name. And what I am defining here, price. Price is equal to some price. And quantity is equal to some quantity. So total is a method. We have to implement the functionality here. Now, very important, observe carefully here. Price, I am not defining a number, I am defining some string. It is not allowing. Why? Because its data type is number. Have we mentioned that anywhere inside this component? Have we mentioned that price must be number anywhere inside this component? No. Then how it is verifying? So, because its structure is defined in this template, am I right? Its structure is defined in the template. You are just using it here. That means the process of hiding the structure of any member and providing that member to component is called as abstraction. Generally, people who don't have a complete proper knowledge on OOP, they generally say abstraction means data hiding. In OOPs, many times you hear the word data hiding. That's a wrong term. What do you mean by data hiding? Hiding the data. Are you hiding the data? Then why you call data hiding? It is not data hiding. It is data structure hiding. It is not data hiding. We are not hiding the data. We are hiding the data structure. That means the data structure is hidden. That means the complete structure of the member is hidden. Only its functionality is given to client. That means hiding the complete structure and giving only the functionality. That is the mechanism of abstraction. So what is abstraction in OOPs? Abstraction is the process of hiding the structure and providing the functionality. So where the structure is hidden, it is in abstract class. That means the structure is hidden in the abstract class and you are just using that in your component. So that means here you just define the price. Here you define the quantity, and total, it needs implementation. Total is a method. That means we have to use total. And this total method requires implementation. It is also showing error. Why? Because as per the structure, it should return number. That means it should return this dot quantity into this dot price. It should do that. Another, we have print method, because this component still print is missing. So we have to implement the print method. And the print method have to print all the details. Console.log name, this dot name, and we have the price is equal to this dot price, and we have the quantity is equal to this dot quantity, and we have total is equal to this dot total. That's how we are defining. Now this process is called abstraction. This is called abstraction. That means abstract is nothing but actually abstract class comprises of so two types of members. So one is members implemented with functionality. So and another one, members need to not yet implemented yet, members not implemented. Now that is the reason, because that means abstract class is a template which cannot be used directly in application. What we have to do? Abstract class is a template which cannot be used in application directly. We have to implement the functionality through a component, and that component is given to application. So that means that is the reason you cannot create instance for abstract class. We cannot create an instance for abstract class. Why? Because it is incomplete. It is an incomplete class. You cannot create an instance for abstract class. It is an incomplete class. Because if any class contains members not implemented, you cannot create instance. You cannot use it. Then what you have to do is you have to extend abstract class. abstract class and implement using component. Understood? Component means a general ordinary class. And very important, abstract class comprises of structure. Abstract class comprises of structure, and component comprises of functionality. The structure is defined in abstract and the functionality is defined in component. That means the process of hiding the data structure, right? Structure. The process of hiding the data structure and providing only functionality to component is known as abstraction. It is called abstraction. So the process of hiding the data structure and providing only the functionality to the component, that is called abstraction. So technically, this is abstraction. We created a contract. Contract is implemented by template. The template is extended by component, and component is using. Now we use the component in app is equal to new component. What is that component? Product component. And through that app, we can access the print method. We can define. Now let's run this and see index.ts. And here we are accessing index.ts. I'm just using tsc index.ts and node index.js. Node index.js. This is working fine. So this is the process of abstractions. That means in real world projects, why you need abstract classes? So in real world projects, abstract classes are used for building templates. So in which situation we use templates? In the situation where modules functionality is very private, we need to just design a template and give to the client so that they can implement its functionality. Another situation when we are designing a rollout project. When you are designing a project for rollout, in that case, we have to develop a template and roll this template at the client location with their requirements. So that is what the process of abstractions. So this is one simple example of how we define the concept. But generally, in real world development, here I created the contract, I created the template and components, everything at one place. Actually, in real world project development, we use modules. In real world project development, we use modules. We will see how the same works with modules. Actually, in JavaScript also you might have learned about modules because JavaScript also have modules. Actually, a module is nothing but a module is a collection. A module is a collection. A module is a collection of functions, values, classes, contracts, templates, contracts and templates. All these are present in a module. Typically, a module is a collection of functions, values, classes, contracts and templates. This module system is already there in general JavaScript. Any JavaScript based technology, the library is built using module system only. Generally, your JavaScript uses that module system. For example, C. Actually, I will show you just your JavaScript, right? Generally in JavaScript, suppose we see here there is one public folder is there. I am adding here one simple file I will add temporarily. I am adding like some demo module.js. So modules are designed by using JavaScript file in javascript.js. This is every JavaScript file that you added, it is considered as a module. Every JavaScript file that you designed is considered as a module actually. And the module name is actually the file name. That means the module name is demo module. So, and a module can contain some values. Suppose we have a message or we have some username and we have some username. And a module can contain functions. We have a function. Some hello is a function. This function is returning. So some hello and that whatever username is there. Now this is module. A module contains values, functions. It may contain classes, contracts, templates, everything. As of now, I created a JavaScript module and this module contains a value and a function. Whatever generally you define in a module, these are accessible only inside this module. They are not accessible outside the module. If you want any function to be accessed or class or interface, JavaScript don't have any interfaces. If you want to access anything outside the module, then you have to mark it as export. JavaScript functions are marked with export in order to indicate that it can be accessed outside the module. If it is not export, then it is accessible only within the module. Okay, now you have a module ready with a function called hello. Now I want to use this module in my HTML page. I'm designing a simple HTML page. So head, so title, so suppose I'm just giving module, okay. Here we have the body and we have a paragraph. Now I want to use this module. I want to use this module inside this page. Then usually what we have to do is, first we have to link that script file. So script source is equal to, what is it? Demo module.js. We have to first import that file. Then in that file, there is a function which we have to use. Then we have to create a script and we have to use import. Import, what to import? We have to import function from which location? We have to import from demo module.js. So demo module.js. From here, we have to import which function? We have to import hello function. That means we need to import this function from this particular module. So we have to import. And after importing, we can use this function. What we are doing here is we are using simply document.query selector. I am accessing paragraph. In the paragraph inner HTML, I am printing this hello. Because hello is designed to return a string. And directly we are returning that and storing here. That means we are accessing the paragraph and displaying whatever is there in that hello. Now, this is not ordinary JavaScript. This is module system of JavaScript. Then you have to mark the type as module. script type as module. It's mandatory. That means now you are using a JavaScript module system. So this JavaScript module system is working fine. That means it is printing some paragraph. This is general JavaScript. So you have learned this in JavaScript basics because this is general common concept of JavaScript OOP language, OOP concept. So JavaScript uses module systems like this. This is JavaScript module system. Same TypeScript also uses the module systems, right? Actually, if you are good in the JavaScript module system and you know how modules are used, right? So the same concept here. So module is a collection of functions, values, classes, contracts, and templates. Actually, when you are working with modules, you should know that because we are discussing about this in TypeScript. Here, TypeScript module is defined in a TypeScript file. TypeScript module is defined in a TypeScript file. We have to define TypeScript module in TypeScript file just like JavaScript module in JavaScript file. And every member in module is not accessible outside module. Every member in module is not accessible outside module. In order to access any member of module outside the module scope, then you have to mark it as export. We have to mark it as export. That means we have to say export interface name. We have to say export class name like this. We have to use export function and function name. You can have function also. So technically anything in a module is not accessible outside until or unless you mark it as export. Another important is every module can have one default export. Every module can have one default export. So which is loaded into memory at the time of importing module. Remember, only one can be default export. That means you can configure like this: export default interface and name. In a module, only one can be default. So already one member is default. We cannot have another member default. You cannot have another member default. Only one member can be default. Another important is you have to import. You have to import and use the members of module. You have to import and use the members of module. Generally, to import and use the members of module, we have to use import. Here, another option. This is so not default. That means here we are giving the name. And this is nothing but it can be class name, right? It can be like contract name. It can be like function name. We have to import from, what is it? The module name. We have to define the module name. We have to configure the module name. And very important is we have to use import the class name from module name. Here I am not using a curly brace block. Here I am using a block, and here I am not using the block. This is the process of importing default member. You cannot import any default member in this curly brace. It will not work. That means if the member is default, then you have to import like this. If the member is not default, then you have to import like this in a block. If both are present, then you have to import like this. That means import. So default member, and after that other members we have to import from file, from the module name. This is how we need to import if module contains both default and non-default. But there can be only one default. That is the reason you have to define in this way. And others you have to define in this block. So it depends on how you configure. And very important, remember, in order to use module system in any project, you must have a module system installed. Without that, it will not work. In order to use any module system, you must have a module system installed. There are various module systems. There are various module systems of JavaScript. JavaScript have a lot of module systems. JavaScript have various module systems. Like we have Common JS, that is a module system. We have UMD, this is Universal Module Distribution. Universal Module Distribution. You have like AMD. So asynchronous module distribution. Asynchronous module distribution. We have require.js. These are all different JavaScript module systems. In any technology, wherever you are using JavaScript, these are very important. Remember, 90% of Angular, React like interviews, you have to face questions on JavaScript only. I will guarantee that you cannot crack those interviews if you don't have proper knowledge of JavaScript. 100% not possible. Right? You cannot call yourself as Angular or React developers without 100% complete knowledge of JavaScript. So there is nothing like I know little bit JavaScript. Right? That's not satisfying at all. Right? We don't want little bit JavaScript people in companies. Time waste with them. They can't do anything. Real world project is not about half knowledge people. Right? Because many times people come, so I want to learn Angular. I know little bit HTML, little bit CSS. What? You are giving concession to me? That's like joke. What you are talking about? What little bit? Right? You can't handle real-time issues. Right? That means even you are into a company, you can't survive. Many people come out of, so after doing job for 2-3 months, they come out, voluntary retirement. Say, I will not do anything in software industry now. I will come out. It's enough. Because you can't survive sometimes if with these kind of experience, means half knowledge. You can't survive. And nobody helps in software companies. Right? Even he is your brother also, he will not help. Because many times people come, sir, my brother is working in a company. He said that learn Angular. By the time you learn Angular and go, your brother will be kicked out of the company. He don't have a job. Even he is a project manager. He don't have any kind of rights to take you into project. You know, these are basic norms. Even your brother is a CEO of the company. He cannot make you survive in this. He can take you, but you can't survive. Understand? So you have to depend on complete your own skills and not half skills. That is the reason you have to learn complete JavaScript perfectly. So even now you are learning Angular, some topics of JavaScript you are not aware, you explore them, learn them. That will help you in real world environment. So problem solving, because see, I hope many of you haven't learned module systems in JavaScript, right? But that is very important in Angular, React, Node.js. Any JavaScript based technology works on module system only. Right? You have to be aware of that. That means you cannot say, I don't know what is a module, because JavaScript libraries are built with modules. These are important. Always refer this website. You know MDN? MDN, refer this website. For JavaScript, good help, you can go to MDN. Mozilla Developers Network. MDN is from the people who built and maintain JavaScript. You will get complete detailed help on HTML, CSS and JavaScript from MDN. For HTML, you use WhatWG. WhatWG is the official site for HTML. MDN is for JavaScript and CSS. You can go for that. WhatWG you already know. WhatWG are the people who are building HTML. HTML is built and maintained by WhatWG. Right? So from HTML was designed by Tim Berners-Lee, but WhatWG. This WhatWG are the people who are maintaining, evolving HTML since 2004. So HTML is maintained and developed by this community. Right? So these people will give you complete detailed information about everything in HTML. What these people tell you about HTML is 100% correct. Not other websites, because these people built it. These people are building it, maintaining it. So you get official help from these resources, okay? Then you will get more clarity. Module systems, very important. And without module system installed, you cannot use module systems. Now you may ask like, so have we installed any module system? In the beginning, I asked you to install npm Node.js. It comes with module systems like UMD, CommonJS. By default, it comes with a module system. That is the reason modules are working for you. You can see in our file, you can see we have tsconfig file now. In tsconfig file, you see here it is using module system CommonJS. By default, a module system is working for you. Right? If module systems are not installed, they cannot work actually. They cannot work. So that is module system. And very important, CommonJS, UMD, AMD, so many. For example, you see, suppose this is React.React.js. Yeah, this is React.js. This is a JavaScript library. Angular I am not showing because Angular is a framework. We can't see the library clearly until we create a project. That is the reason. So here I will go to these documents. You see CDN links. You see they are giving JavaScript files with an UMD module system. UMD is a module system. any JavaScript library comes from a module system. JavaScript libraries are built with modules. Even now TypeScript libraries are built with module. So we have this common JS currently working for us. So you don't need to install any extra module system, already this is working for you. So how to use it now? Let's see. Same concept we will build with module system. That means templates, contracts, components. We will see how the real world library is built. See, now first in our project, I will add a new folder called library. I'm adding library. Okay. In this library folder, we will create separate files, separate folders again. In library, I am creating separate folders, and this is one is contracts. All contracts we will keep in this folder. Next, in the library, select library, add another folder. I will say templates. All templates we will keep here. And in the library, I will add another folder, components. All components we will put here. So we are maintaining separate folders for library to cleanly classify it. All contracts at one place, templates at one place, components at one place. Okay. Let's go to first contracts and add a new file. And the file is product contract.ts. TypeScript files will have extension .ts. Okay. Now in this file, we will design the contract. That means interface. What is it? Product contract. In that we have name, string type, price, number type, quantity is number type, and total is a function with the number return. Print is a function with the void type. Now this is a module now. Now whatever you defined in module is not accessible outside. Then we have to mark it as export. You can have multiple contracts. You can maintain a separate file, or in the same file, I will give another export interface. I will say some category contract. This is category contract and it is having category name. It is a string type. In a file, you can maintain multiple contracts, or every contract you can create in separate. Now, in this product contract, we have product contract and category contract. And I told you that any one can be configured as default export. You can say default. There cannot be more than one default. Every module can have one default. That means it is by default loaded into memory. But you have to import it. It is loaded into memory. If you don't want any member to load into memory, we will call it manually and load. Then better not to use any default. Not to use any default. Just to make you understand about default, I am using that default option. Okay. Now contract is ready. Now close this. Let's go to templates and add a new file here, and that is product template.ts. Product template.ts. In this product template, let's design the product template. Export abstract class. We said that template is a abstract class, and we will give the name as product template. Now this have to implement those two contracts. One is category contract and product, but they are not present here. Then first we have to import them here. Import. We have to import here. I am using product contract from which location? Which location we are importing? So we are importing from contracts folder. Contracts folder is present outside this folder. then dot slash. You know path how to write in general HTML. Dot slash will invoke the files in current folder. Dot slash one level back. Again dot slash two levels back, like that. Dot slash, in that we have contracts. In the contracts, which one? Product contract. Now see, it is showing error. Why it is showing error? Because this product contract is default. And I told you that default members cannot be kept in this block. It is marked as default. So we have to write the default members directly. Product contract. Like this we have to write. And comma, there is another one which is not default. Suppose I am writing here category contract. This is not allowed again. Because category contract is not default. There can be only one default. This must be kept in curly brace. Then it is fine. Now we are importing two interfaces. These contracts are nothing but their interface. We are importing these two interfaces from this particular module. Now this template can implement product contract, comma, category contract also. You know that multiple inheritance is supported for interface. Yesterday we discussed, multiple inheritance is supported for interface, not for class. It supports for interface. Now, according to that, we have to design the contract. So we have public. So what we have? Name. Name is what type? String, and we will put string. Similarly, we have price. It is a number type and some number. And we have public. We have quantity. Quantity is number, and we will put some number. And we have public category name. Category name is a string. It is empty. Total and print, we have to leave it for implementation. So we have to mark as abstract total. Total is what type? Number. That's it. Another one, we have abstract print. Print is what type? It is an void type. That's how we need to configure and define. Right? This is the template ready. Now I want to use this template. And design a component now. Let's go to components now. Let's go to components and add a new file into components. And here I will give as product component.ts. Here we have to import the template first. So what we are using? Import what template? Product template from templates. Automatically your VS Code IntelliSense will pick up the path. Otherwise you have to manually write that path. Okay. Now this is ready. Now what we have to do? We need to design, export class. The class is product component. This product component extends whom? Product template. In that we have name. So just name is, structure is already defined. So name, we are configuring the name. We have price configured with some price. We have quantity is configured with quantity. So we have a total is a method. So total, here we will use one more category name. Category name is configured with some category, electronics. Total have to return. So this dot quantity into this dot price. And we have a print. This print have to print all the details. That means all the details we have to print. That means console.log. So name. So this dot name and price. So this dot price. This dot price. And we have quantity. So this dot quantity, and we have total. So a category name. Category is this dot category name, and another we have total, and this dot total. Total is a function. All this is ready. Now your component is ready. Now I have to use this component in my app. Your library is ready now. Now once the library is ready, I will create a new folder called app folder. Now in this app, I want to use that library. Just very simple. Add a new file. Here we have index.ts, and here we have to import which one? Product component from the library. For product component is in library. In library components, product component. Just product component is a class. So we have to create a TV object is equal to new product component. Through that we can access the print method here. This is how the applications are built. That means in your application, you are just using a library, a component, but this component is built with template. Template is built with contract. You see, I will right click on this component and go to definition. Go to definition. You can see it will take to that component here. And right click on this template and go to definition. This component is extending template. Right click and go to definition. It will show the template. This template is extending contract. Right click and go to definition, and it will show you the contract we are using. And there is no definition because this is the starting point. That is the starting point. There is no definition for that. So that is the hierarchy of designing libraries. In your Angular, when you are going to learn Angular, every library will be in the same way. That means every class, every member is provided through module system. You have to import and you have to use. This is how the library is built for your Angular. So that is, you have to know how to create members to access outside module. You have to learn how to import and use them inside a module. This is one basic example for that module system. So what I have done here, I will upload all these files. I will upload this zip folder, okay na? This app and library, I will upload these two in the form of zip files. So you can practice, right? In the classroom, I will upload that. Now we need to run this now. That means we have to run which folder? Actually, so we have the folder is, this is TypeScript. In that app we have index. This we will run here. So see what we are doing, tsc index.ts and node index.js. When I run this, automatically you are running only this TS file, but actually it is built with a lot of TS files. Now what it will do is, in the background, it will use a mechanism called dependency injection. It uses a software design pattern called dependency injection. What the dependency injection will do is, it will identify what are the libraries dependent on it. And it will load those libraries and extract the libraries and convert them into JavaScript. Actually, every TS file we have to convert into JavaScript. But here I am converting only index. What about contract.ts? What about template.ts? What about component.ts? So you can observe that when you run index.ts, automatically you can see here in this index.js is there. Not only that, in the library for every component, the contract template, the JS is generated. So we are not manually compiling then how it knows that it needs to compile this? Because of dependency injection. So dependency injection is one very major concept you will learn in later stages when you are learning Angular. So as of now, it is using that mechanism. That is the reason you don't need to compile all. You have to just compile only this index.ts. Now run this node index.js. Actually, in this file, it will bundle all the logic. It is going to bundle all the logic. That means in all files, whatever logic is there, it merged into one. It is merged into one. That is the concept of import actually. Import. So that means you can see here the JS file. Open the index.js and you can see it is importing. You can observe here, this is module, this is the component, and it is importing that here. That means actually, remember, it is using a module system called require.js. We are using common.js. JavaScript is using require.js. In the background, we are using common.js. TypeScript is using common.js. And it is using require.js for importing because it cannot understand directly your module system of TypeScript. It will translate. And see, this is using the import from this component and automatically every TS file you can observe that JavaScript file, it is merged with the logic, understood? It is bundled because here you are using only component, but actually every component is using a template. By using the template, it is using the component. You can see the product component. You can see the product template. Am I right? You can see the product template is, where is the template? Actually, it is using this template. Understood? Product template. It is importing everything and it is using it. Actually, without TypeScript, you have to write logic like this. This is very difficult. That is the reason developers use TypeScript and JavaScript will be translated accordingly. Without TypeScript, we have to write all that logic. That's very difficult. So earlier people have to do in that way only. Earlier we don't have any templates in JavaScript. We don't have any contracts in JavaScript. Then we have to use this kind of mechanism. Right? But now it is simple because we just have a TypeScript which will translate into JavaScript. We don't need to worry about what it is in the background. You don't need to even try to understand. You can never understand. It's out of your level and range. Why? Because for that lot of internal component systems you need to learn in JavaScript to understand what is happening in the background. Don't waste your time in trying to understand that JavaScript file. Right? So that is not at all required also, because it generates everything according to requirement. Just you need to use it. So now it is ready. Node index.js, it is using that and handling. So this is the basic of module systems. How the modules are used, how the modules are configured, right? So in TypeScript, you need to understand how to work with contracts, how to work with templates, and how do we work with modules. This example I will upload. All the files example I will upload. Now one more important in the module, in the TypeScript, you need to know about generics, which is new. You need to know about the concept of generics. We have generics. We have enumerations also. I hope you learned enums in JavaScript and .NET, Java and .NET, same. But here generics is a new concept. Generic is a new concept. Actually, generic is a very common concept in Microsoft based technologies. They are very common there. But others, here generic concept is nothing but, suppose, see, I'm just showing one example here. One point here is, suppose we are accessing data from API. We are accessing some data from an API. We have to access the data from API and we have to use that in our application. Now API is not designed by you. So API is not designed by you. Somebody developed that API and we have to use it. Now the data from that API comes and you have to use that data in your application. Now here so many points are there. Already I told you one concept. If you remember that for example, how to know, suppose we have a class. We have a class. Now this class is not developed by you. Somebody designed that class and you are using it. As a developer, how to know what members are there in this class? What is the type of those members? Suppose you are learning Java or .NET. You are provided with a library which is not built by you. And you are asked to use that library. How you will know what methods it is having? What properties it is having? Question understood? In a real-time development process, you are given with a library which you never use it. Then as a developer, how you will use that library without knowing what is present inside it? And as a developer, what you will do to know about that class? In Java and .NET like technologies, you have a reflection API. Reflection APIs, not even in C++. OOP languages have reflection API. This reflection API is used by developers to understand the library. If you don't know about it. Otherwise, you can't work in real time. Real-time software development, first, a software developer should know reflection APIs. Mandatory. Whether you are a Java developer or a .NET developer, you cannot understand a library so without the help of anybody, without this reflection API. Reflection API is compulsory, mandatory. A Java .NET developer must know these reflection APIs. Because reflection APIs are reflection API is there everywhere. For example, every OOP concepts have. What is it? Java reflection API. You can see Java have reflection API. So Java reflection is the process of examining the behavior of a class at runtime. Right? A developer cannot use the class until or unless he knows how the class works at all. Who will tell? Again, a trainer will come and teach you in company. Then how? You will not use all the libraries, only the libraries that you learned in classroom. You have to use a lot of libraries which are not learnt in your class. That means, suppose in Java, in .NET like technologies, you might have learnt how to connect with database, get the data, access the data. So which database you will learn? Oracle or MySQL or SQL Server like databases. But in order to test your experience levels and skills, when you go to companies, so they will ask that I have an Excel file, in that a table is there. We have to read the data in Java from that file. How? Because data means it can be in Excel file also. Right? You should know. right? They will say that we have some table. That table need to be converted into PDF file. It's compulsory. Bank statements are converted into PDFs, right? Then you have to learn them. That means it's not just only what you learned in class. In real world projects, we have to use lot of third parties. Those third parties, they will not teach every time in class because we are not sure which third party your company will use. Understood? But at least one third party library, if you learn how to use, you can try others. Right? That is the concept. You, as a developer, you have to work with several unknown libraries. And in order to work with any unknown library, first you should know what that library have, what the behavior. For that, your technologies have reflection APIs. Know about them. It's very important for real-time development. .NET, Java, C++, all OOP languages have reflection APIs. Right? They are used for understanding the behavior. So why we discussed this point? Because when you are working with some data which is not designed by you, then here the problem is how to handle the data in application. Suppose I have to declare a variable, and this variable data type, I am not sure what type of data will come, but I am expecting that. If data type is not sure, then you know we mark it as any type now. We mark it as any type. If I mark it as any type, what is problem? If I mark it as any type, so you send a string into it, it can store a string. You send a number into it, it can store number. It's not good. Until which moment you don't know the data type? Until the data comes. Am I right? Once the data comes, you know the type. Then we should not allow other types. Understood? That means initially this variable is ready to accept any type. But once you send some data into it, understood? It will understand its type and automatically it will fix the type as string. That's good. Now, this is not directly possible. If you give any as type, it will not be treated as string. It will be treated as any only. Then there will be possibility that some boolean can store into it, number can store. So, what is solution for this? Keep it type safe. Allow any type to come. Once the type comes, fix it to that type. Understood? Keep type safe. Allow to handle any type. Once the type is known, now don't allow another type. How to design a type safe member which can be strongly type related? That is generics. Generic can do that. Generic can do that. That means generics allows, we will detailedly learn about generics. Here just one point I will tell you here. We will detailedly learn about generics. Here one point I will tell you here. Suppose we have a function. Function is suppose print. I don't know what type of data will come here. But whatever data type comes, it should first understand the type and fix it. Then we can make this as generic type. Generic type. This is type. You can use any word, X, Y, Z, anything. Just traditionally for type we use T. Now print is designed as generic type. Now see what I am doing. When I am calling the print into that, so and see here A is the generic type. B is also generic type. Now see, into the print, whenever I want to use, I will pass a string into it. Then A and B are string type now. They are string type automatically. That means you can store string. I cannot store anything else here. Suppose I am using the print and I pass a number into it. A and B are now numbers. They will not allow string. They will not allow any string into them. They will not allow any string. This is invalid. That means this is type safe. But once you tell the type, it will not allow any another type. It can be type safe with strongly typed nature. This is called generic. So we can create such generic members in TypeScript. Actually, TypeScript can create generic classes. TypeScript can create generic methods. TypeScript can create generic properties also. We have generic classes, generic methods, generic properties. Where to use them in real world situation, we will see now. What is the real situation and where to use them. That we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we will do that. Okay. In tomorrow's session, we will finish TypeScript. We have generics and enums. We will discuss about them. Then we will start with Angular from Monday. Okay. Tomorrow we will finish this generics and enum part. Tomorrow we will continue.